Okay, welcome back. Number 16, I think this is the last page. Oh, this is the last page. So this should be short. Find all zeros of the polynomial. So now I need to find all of them. I'll first start by looking to see if I could factor by grouping. It doesn't look like I can because this isn't going to pull anything out, break it away. So then I'm going to start by listing my possibilities. P is this last number 13. So 1 and 13 go into that. Q is just 1. So I'm not really like formally listing these possibilities. This is just for me so I know what to try when I do the synthetic division. Yeah, okay. So I think I'm going to do it, just write small and hope that we don't have to cross things out a lot. I'm writing in pen. You shouldn't do math in pen. So 1, negative 15, 27, negative 13. If I plug in a 1, let me just think. Yeah, let's try 1. Negative 14, 13, 0. So I am looking for 3 solutions. You got, hold on. Good job, Betty. Hold on, I'm recording, okay? Sorry, I told you there'd be interruptions. Okay, so 1 works. That's my first solution. I'm looking for 3 solutions because it's a cubic. Now at this point, does this factor? My whole goal is to get it to a quadratic so that I can either factor it or I can use the quadratic formula. In this case, if I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to 13, it has to be 13 and 1 since 13 is prime. Now, if I want them to add to be a negative 13, that means they both have to be negative. So there you have it. If we set them equal to 0, we can find all of our solutions. From the synthetic division, x equals 1. From my factoring, x equals 1 again, and then 13. Okay, number 17. If I'm setting up the synthetic, there is a formula that you can use. This is called the sum of cubes because x cubed is a perfect cubed and 27 is a perfect cubed. But we didn't take the time to teach that to you. So let's just use synthetic division. 1, 0, 0, 27. Now this is a perfect cube, right? So it's like 3 cubed. Maybe that's going to give us an idea of what one of the solutions will be. I don't know. If we list our possibilities, P over Q. P is 27, so it's either 1, 3, 9, or 27. Q is 1. Now these are all positive, right? Which means I have to put a negative number in here. That way I can get it turning negative at some point. All right, if I plug in a 1, I've got 1, and then 1, and then 1. 1's not going to cancel it. Let's try 3, but the negative 3. Negative 3, positive 9, negative 27, 0. There we have it. So our first solution, x equals negative 3. Our second solution, if I'm trying to play the game and factor, I need 2 numbers that multiply to 9, add to negative 3. 3 and 3 multiply to 9, that doesn't add to negative 3, so I can't do it, which means I have to do the quadratic formula. 3 plus or minus the square root of, so negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c. We'll ignore the all over 2a for a minute. 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 27. Now let's break up that 27. So 3 plus or minus, the 3's come out, the negative comes out, the loner stays in. All over 2a, well a was 1, so all over 2. Does anything cancel? If that was a 3, then I'd have canceling going on, but it's not. So my final answers are x equals negative 3 from the synthetic division, and then 3 plus or minus 3i square root 3 all over 2. All right, 2 more. Find all zeros of the equation. Now I'm going to have 4 this time. But first, before I even start, I notice that each of those terms have an x in it. So let's pull out an x. X cubed minus 2x minus 4. And then I also notice that there's a missing term. So when I start to set up the synthetic division, 1, 0, negative 2, negative 4, I have to put the 0 in as a placeholder. P over Q. P is 4, so it's plus or minus 1, 2, and 4 over 1. Okay, let me think. If I start with a 1, 1, 1, negative 1, that's not going to work. If I start with a 2, 2, 4, I think 2 works. Let me think about this one more time. 2, 4, 2, I think 2 works. Okay. If not, I should have written smaller. So 4, 4, oh, hold on. Crap, what did I just do? 2, 4, 8. Now, what did I just do? I swear it works in my head. And 2 should have worked. Oh, that's supposed to be a 1. Oh my gosh. 2, 2, 4, 2, 4, 0. Goodness. So now I've got it down to a quadratic, and that doesn't look like one. So let's just rewrite it. X squared plus 2x plus 2. Sorry, seriously. Fearless leader going down. Multiply to a 2. Add to a 2, that's not going to work, right? So we have to use the quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. Negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 8 would be a negative 4. Negative 2 plus or minus 2i, is that okay? All over 2a. So final answer, from the synthetic division, x equals 2. From my quadratic formula, let's get some canceling happening. Negative 1 plus or minus I. Oh, and from the very, very, very beginning, I always forget about this one, so don't forget about that one, the 0. Now look at this one. You see how that there's another example where each term has an x in it. I don't remember fully. But if I were doing the review and there were 2 examples right in a row where I pull an X out, assume that there's probably going to be one on the test where you can pull an X out. Again, I don't know for sure. I could figure it out. Now on this one, I noticed you have that x11, x11. So I'm going to try factoring it by grouping so we don't have to do synthetic formula. Ignore this x out front for just a minute. If we start listing the zeros, x equals 0 is the first one because of this guy right here. So now you don't need him anymore. Okay, looking at this, they both have an x squared, and you're left with x minus 11. On this one, you have to factor out a negative 1 in order to get an x minus 11. They both have an x minus 11. Now x squared minus 1 factors. You don't have to factor it, I guess. So you could set each of these equal to 0 and see what happens. From here, x equals 11. So we'll add that to our list. Right, from here, I would have to add the 1 and then take the square root. So when I do that, I get a plus or minus 1. There they all are. Okay. If you watched this, thank you very much. If you tell me on my test, just near the bonus question, what my dog's name is, because I said his name throughout the course of my video, you'll get a point extra credit on your test. So thanks for watching and good luck. I'll see you tomorrow or Tuesday. Peace out.